As we start working on your coloring for the name project, we need to consider and think about how we add and layer our colors, and also how we're thinking about form. Remember, form is when we add shape plus value. And from our value practices, we've been able to see that we are able to add value by adding those multiple layers and thinking about the complementary color. Here in my scene project, you can see that I've done the sky, looking left to right, and also added shadows. I've also left some areas undone, and this is just so that I can show you what my process was on this project. So here I'm going to be adding in some of this nice color. I'm trying to mimic what's down below. So you can see taking the target color I started with and adding a second layer of that, making sure I'm keeping those movements nice and tall. I'm going to add the second color. This was just to bring down that tonal quality. So I'm adding in this taupe on top of my harvest gold, just trying to match the color that I did down below. So again, keeping things nice and vertical, trying to fill in any inconsistencies. See, just taking my time here with that. Now, I don't feel it's right where it needs to be, so I'm going to take a little more of that harvest gold and put a little bit more of that layer on there. So now I've already added 4 layers of this color, and see, I can see it kind of matches, but now I need to look at that shadow. So I'm coming in with a dark brown. I have that just right on the edge, and I'm going to very lightly pull that across just a titch, show a little bit of shadow happening right there on the edge. Now you can see that that matches up with the colors down below. Now, looking at these bricks, I've got a lot of different colors going on in the brick. I think it's interesting to have variated color there. So I've got green, and that's going to be from my reddish bricks. And so you can see right here, just adding that complement, because we should have the complementary color when we are looking at those to tone down things. So just in the red sections, adding a little bit of that green, not a lot of pressure. Next, I'm going to be looking at the yellowy areas and the orange areas. For the yellow areas, I'm adding just a little bit of purple, because the complement of that yellowish color would be purple, so just adding a titch of that in there, keeping my lines nice, tall, and vertical. See how I go in there and blend that through? And then with this orangey color, this light brown, I'm adding blue, lightly adding that layer on top as well. This is going to help tone down those colors so they're less intense, and that helps create a shadow. Now the rest of my colors are a little bit different. I'm just going to add a little bit more of that red on top. I feel like that green took it down too much. So I'm being thoughtful about how I add colors. I'm also going to grab a cool gray. I need to match the rest of it. So this is just a very light. I am not adding a lot of color here. Don't ever think you need to come in with this and go super dark. I'm just trying to match and mimic what's going on down below. And so I added a little bit of cool gray on top, but I wouldn't do this all the time. This was just to make sure I could mimic what was happening down below. You can see my sky. Again, I've blended from a medium dark all the way down to a medium light. So you can see that coming down. This is not white. That is a medium light blue. Maybe a little harder to tell in the video. I've got some cylinder right there with a nice gradient value and a highlight. I've looked at the entire piece and figured out where my light direction is coming from. So I have a dark side. You can see the shadows everywhere there. And even on my boxes here, you can see that as I've got my name written and my boxes, I'm going to go in and start adding more value to these just to darken up this side, because this is my darkest side. So I need to add a layer here, nice tall vertical lines. Adding layers slowly helps you build up and make sure you don't go too fast. Sometimes we add in really dark layers really fast, and then we've gone too dark. So I'm taking care just to push the intensity of this a little bit darker with that same brown. Haven't added a complement yet, but you can see how that's just starting to darken up a little more. So be thoughtful as we add color to this project.